Hi, this is Kamui from Qlik. Today I'm going to cover integrating Qlik Sense with OneMap through WMS. This is the part 2 of a 3-part series. In case you missed the part 1, please look out for the link in the description below. Let's get started. So, what is WMS? Web Map Service or WMS is a standard protocol developed by the Open Geospatial Consortium in 1999. It is being used for serving georeference map images over the internet. WMS services are useful if you want to make your map available online in an open, recognized way across different platforms and clients. There are 4 versions of the WMS specification being published so far. It started from 1.0.0 all the way to 1.3.0 being the most recent one. WMS specifies several different request types, 2 of which are required by any WMS server. The first one is get capabilities. It returns parameters about the WMS and the available layers. Then followed by get map, which returns a map image. This is a WMS request flow diagram showing you how a WMS turns data into map images. Unlike TMS, where it needs to generate the map images beforehand, WMS generates the map images on the fly. The source application, in this case Qlik Sense, will make a map request. In the request, it could contain some filter values. WMS will apply the filters and load the map data. Once the data is loaded, it will apply the style rules that is being stated and then render the map image accordingly. The map image could be rendered into the common image format like PNG or JPEG. The source application will then display the map image rendered to the users. The advantage of using WMS is that it could save you time from preloading the map images. However, the con is that it will be slightly slower because all the map images are generated on the fly. This is the OneMap map link found on the OneMap documentation. It includes both the WGS 84 and SVY21 coordinates. WGS 84 datum is the global datum that uses latitude and longitude. It is the most commonly used coordinate system today. SVY21 is the localized datum which provides a more accurate representation of the area than the global WGS 84 datum. To integrate OneMap WMS in Qlik Sense, you need to add a background layer to the map chart object. You may name the layer as WMS by entering WMS in the label text box, select WMS from the format drop-down list and click on the WMS setup button for further configuration. Once you click on the button, a WMS setup pop-up window will appear. Enter the WMS map link that was found from the OneMap documentation site in the WMS server URL text box. Check the wire server CORS checkbox and choose 1.3.0 from the drop-down list. Then, click on the Load WMS button. If the setup is correct, you will get the status Success. Otherwise, it will ask you to check the URL and version and try again. If the points loaded are using WGS 84 coordinate system, which uses latitude and longitude, choose EPSG 4326 from the drop-down list. If your data uses the SVY21 coordinate system, choose EPSG 3414 from the drop-down list. You may find several layers being exposed to you. You can choose one of the layers by check on the box next to it. For example, you can choose default as the layer. Do note that those layers with 3414 are meant for SVY21 coordinate system. Click on the Save button to save the configurations. You should be able to see OneMap being used as the background map in the Qlik Sense map chart object after this. After the WMS setup, if you can't view OneMap, please ensure that your geospatial data is pointing to Singapore so that the map auto zoom in to Singapore. Also, you may need to check on the projection being used in the map settings. If you are using the default or pale base map, you need to set the projection to adaptive. Otherwise, if you set the base map to none, then you need to set the projection to use user-defined (degrees). Now, let me show you a quick demo on how to configure WMS for OneMap in Qlik Sense. What I have here is a map chart with some Singapore-based geospatial data points loaded. I'm using latitude and longitude for the data points. To integrate OneMap WMS in Qlik Sense, you need to add a background layer to the map chart object. To do so, just click on Add Layer and then choose Background Layer. Here you can name the layer as WMS by entering WMS in the label and choose WMS as the format, and then you will be presented with the WMS setup button. Just click on that. So here we need to enter the server URL for OneMap, so let's paste that in, and then you need to make sure that the wire server CRS is checked. And for version wise, I'm going to use 1.3.0 and then just click on Load WMS. So if the loading is successful, it will show you that success here in the status. And the step 2, which are all the settings here, you will see these are all loaded from the OneMap itself. So under CRS, you will find EPSG 3414 and also EPSG 4326. If you recall, EPSG 3414 is for SVY21 coordinate system, and the EPSG 4326 is for the lat and long. So I'm going to use the EPSG 4326. And then if you look at the layers, you will see there are many layers that's available here. You can choose any of these. So I'm going to use default as my layer, and then I'm going to save these settings here. So just click on the Save button here. So once you have saved the settings, you may not see the map immediately. Not to worry, I think we need to do some changes to the settings. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to the map settings. So by default, if you're using base map, it's actually using the Mercator as the projection. So we need to change to adaptive as we has mentioned earlier on. So let's change that. So once you have changed that, you will see that OneMap is now appear on our screen here. If you're using pale, same thing, you need to change it to adaptive. Or if you're using, for example, none, then you need to use user-defined degrees. If you change to something else, for example, like user-defined meters, you will see nothing on the map. So you need to make sure that you use the user-defined degrees here. So once you have done that, you can click on Done Editing. Then now we can zoom in to look at the map data itself. So as we zoom, the pictures are actually all generated on the fly because this is a WMS. So when we zoom in, Qlik Sense will actually send a request to OneMap, and OneMap will actually generate the map images on the fly, as you can see on the screen here. With that, I conclude my demo for integrating Qlik Sense to OneMap via WMS. Well, we have come to the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where I will cover how to integrate OneMap using API.